Thank you, appreciate that. How's everyone doing tonight? We having a fun time here tonight? Thank you all so much for coming to celebrate the big day. And by the way, they look great. How great does Hannah look today? Gary, you look pretty good too. My name is Tyler. I have the privilege of being Gary's best man. I know we've heard several great speeches tonight, so I promise to not take too long because believe me, I want to get onto the cake as much as everyone else. So we'll keep this nice and short. I've known Gary since college. We started at Saddleback together. The first class that we met in was a political science class in the fall of 2016 during the election. And we'll just leave it at this. Our opinion wasn't super popular in that class. This trend kind of continued throughout college. We were political science majors. I had so much fun in that class with Gary, I changed my major to political science. And this kind of trend of our opinion not being super popular in our classes kind of continued throughout our time in college. We transferred to Cal State Fullerton together, and then we walked across the graduation stage together, which is pretty memorable. It was a really great opportunity for me to have my best friend by my side throughout all of college, and I'm glad to be here by his side on the big day that we're celebrating. In college, I thought we were pretty well behaved, and I thought we were good students, but there was one time, there's one story that comes to mind. I didn't think we were the class clowns, but I think Gary and I might hold the distinction for the only college students to ever be banned from sitting next to each other in a class. One day, Gary gets an email from our teacher, and she says, "Gary, you cannot sit next to Tyler for the rest of the semester." So we had to sit apart from each other the rest of the time. I don't know if that's happened to anyone else, but we might be the only ones it's ever happened to. And keep in mind, this was a 400 level constitutional law class, and we were being treated like third graders. I want to tell you a story. I know Hannah's probably going to like this one. I want to tell you a story about how Gary asked me to be his best man. I know Hannah's rolling her eyes, but I think it's a kind of symbolic story for our friendship and the sense of humor that we share. So I get a call last year, and Gary says, "There's a package coming in the mail. You can't open it until I'm with Hannah, and you have to FaceTime me." And to give you some context as to what this item was that was in the mail, we have to go back a few years. This was even before Gary knew me. So I think it was 2015, there was a Kohl's going at a sale. And of all the things he could have bought on sale at this location, out of everything, he buys 2 pieces of a mannequin, and not just any piece. He buys the midsection. So he comes home with 2 plastic mannequin butts. And I had known him. I've slept over at his house several times, and the first thing sometimes I would see is a pair of mannequin plastic butt cheeks looking at me right in the face. One of them was actually given away. He gave them away to some kids. There was a scavenger hunt. It's not as ridiculous as it sounds. There was a scavenger hunt, and these kids were going door to door, and for whatever reason, this plastic mannequin butt fit the criteria for their scavenger hunt, so they came home with this plastic mannequin butt, and I can only imagine what their parents said when they came home with this outrageous object.
They never came back.
They never came back, probably. The Facebook, Ladera Moms Neighborhood Watch Group was probably not happy about that. So early on in the relationship, I think Hannah made it clear, it's like, look, when we get married, you got to get rid of that thing. This thing is ridiculous, which I kind of understand. So, Gary made a pretty good deal. He gets to marry her, and in return, he has to give up the butt. That's a pretty small price to pay. So he kept his word. He got rid of it, but Hannah didn't say what he had to do with it, so he ships this thing to me, and this is how he asked me to be his best man. So the mannequin butt was a kind of symbolic symbol for our friendship, and it was a sentimental kind of passing of the torch. So it's being... The mannequin butt is being kept safe and sound in my room, and maybe one day if I get married, I'll pass it along to the next single guy, and it'll kind of be like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but instead of jeans, it's a mannequin butt. But I think this story is kind of representative of our friendship. It's impossible to be around Gary, whether you just met him for the first time or you've known him for years. It's literally impossible to be around him without him making you laugh or making you smile or making you feel better about yourself. So I know that story's a little bit silly, and Hannah's probably rolling her eyes at how weird this thing is, which I kind of understand. But I asked him in preparation for this speech, I said, "Gary, when did you know that this was going to be the one?" And he paused, and he took a breath, and he said, "I'm not sure if I knew 100% at one time, But there is one kind of instance that comes to mind that stands out in my mind. Gary said, on our first date, Hannah told me she wanted to buy a gun. And maybe to some other men this might have been a little bit intimidating or a little bit odd, but let me tell you, Hannah, that is literally the coolest thing anyone could have ever told Gary on our first date. And Hannah, I'll tell you that Gary is the most loyal and dependable person that anyone in this room will ever know. He's committed to his family, which is much bigger here today. He's also someone that's really, committed to his faith, and not only committed to his faith, but helping others become stronger in theirs as well. And I've been really blessed to have a friend that's helped me become stronger in my faith. He only occasionally makes fun of me for being Catholic, so I appreciate all those jokes. But seriously, it's been a real blessing to have a best friend that always helps me, become more knowledgeable and stronger in my faith. And Hannah, not only do you get to keep Gary for good for today, but he's also a package deal with the groomsmen. You're stuck with us for the rest of your life. I know you grew up with a great sister and you never had a brother, but after today, you have 9 brothers that will always care for you and love you. And a group of brothers that will care for you and love you and pray for you as you, enter this journey for the rest of your life. So we will always be here for as long as any of us are alive. So we're very excited for you. We're praying for you. And let us raise our glass to the newlyweds, to Gary and Hannah.
I know. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this blessed evening. And it's only just begun. On this crisp January evening, we want you all to know that your presence here is so appreciated by Hannah and Gary. You are their treasured friends and family. I'm Brad Ridout, the proud father of the bride, and this is my wife, Heather. And we just want to thank each of you for your continued love and support, both during our adventure in planning this wedding and for walking alongside us in raising both of our girls over the years. We are so happy you have joined us, and we are honored that you have made an effort to be here to celebrate the newlyweds. From those who had only a 5-minute commute, right, Diana?
Yeah.
To those who traveled over 5,000 miles to be here from Scotland. However far you traveled, we're glad you're here tonight. Special thanks goes out to the bridesmaids and the groomsmen. You guys have stood along these two through this whole process and through the years, and we really truly love the friends that you are for both the bride and the groom. To my lovely wife and her squad. Anytime there's an event, I know it's handled. So thank you guys for that. For the family, you guys always do so much selfishly, selflessly. Wow. Let's edit that. We wouldn't be here without you guys, because your support for us allows us to do such blessings for our daughter and her new husband. Special thanks to Angela, the coordinator here. Amazing, amazing job. This venue is incredible. For the vendors and the servers, give it up for the bartenders. You guys are amazing. Thank you. You guys make me look good. Hannah, you are a breathtaking bride. How quickly time flies. In a snap of a finger, you've grown into such a beautiful woman. And I'm proud to call you my daughter and I'm proud to be your dad. You know, you have your daughter get married and you sort of start reflecting on her journey and her life. You know, you think back to the day that she was born, and the nurses hand you to her, and she puts her hand around your little finger, and I was hooked. Goes right to the heart, and I still feel it. You're amazing.
It's only 10 pages.
I don't even know what I have no idea what I wrote here. I'm just sort of winging it at this point. Heather and I have always been supporters to pray for your children. And we've prayed for Hannah her entire life. And God has blessed her with so many great talents and gifts. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's got a heart of giving. She has an almost OCD-like personality trait for cleaning, which we're really going to miss around the house. Really, Georgia?
That's okay.
Oh, she loves to help others, and I know that her following in Mama's footsteps and going to chiropractic school is just another sign of that. You pray for your kids. You pray for their future spouse. If you're not doing that currently, do it. Because our prayers were answered. God brought Gary into Hannah's life. Gary, your love for God, your work ethic, your love for Hannah, and the way that you just radiate family with your parents and your sister is just amazing. Now, for anybody who's known Hannah for any moment of time, she has a contagious laugh. And ever since Gary has been in her life, that laugh has just multiplied tenfold. Like she said in her vows, to the point of a few asthma attacks. Luckily, nothing to the emergency room yet. Yet. Gary, figure out where the hospital is. You will end up there. So, we're definitely going to miss that laughter in our house when you guys move to Georgia. The house is going to be quiet. But we know that you guys are on this journey together. And we're so very excited. Quick shout out to Karen and Gary. Thank you guys so much for raising such an amazing son. We can tell the type of household that he grew up in by the man that he's become. And that's from watching you guys. So thank you. Thank you for raising such a godly son to be such a godly husband. Gary, I think we've already talked about this a couple times. It seems to be popular. Proverbs 18:22. It does say that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. Now, Gary, you've definitely found a very good wife in him. The two of you are good for each other, most definitely. Heather and I, as well as your parents, will be your biggest cheering section. We will continue to pray for your relationship as we hope that you will pray for ours. Marriage is a God-ordained covenant relationship. And in this room around you, and in your family lines, as evidenced by the legacy of love wall out in the courtyard, love is forever. And it can be done. And you guys can do this. My advice to you is to grow together while always keeping your heart and mind on the things of God. Trust me, I'm almost done. Hannah, we see how much you love Gary. With your whole heart. Your mom and I really aren't nervous or worried about you with regards to that. And you're absolutely ready to be Gary's wife. We've already seen how God has used you in each other's lives to mold you, grow you, mature you, and meld you together as one. And today we're celebrating that. Now if everyone would join me and raise a glass. Heather, I've got one. My wife has got 2 glasses. She's not taking this as well as I am. Just kidding. How can I do this? Can't hold 3 things.
You want to go mic? I got the mic.
You got the mic? Okay.
Yep.
So please join me in raising a glass to the newest Mr. and Mrs. Elkins. May your lives be filled with an abundance of love, endless laughter, and countless beautiful memories. May the Lord bless this union into eternity. Cheers!
Hi. Oh wow, there's a lot of people here. A lot more than I anticipated. Okay, first of all. Okay, first of all, I just want to say thank you all again so much for coming out to celebrate the union of Hannah and Gary. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the maid of honor and also Hannah's little sister. So I've always had my big sister to show me the ropes, pick me up when I'm down. And growing up, sure, we had our witty little banters, which our parents might have seen as arguments, but in the end, she's still always there for me. Ever since I was younger, I've always looked up to my sister for everything. From wanting to dress like her, to act like her, to do the same things she's doing, to overall just be her. I mean, look at her, who wouldn't want to be her? This wasn't the part I was supposed to cry, but that's okay. I remember this one birthday, we were a little older, and Hannah was at the age where matching with your little sister wasn't very cool, but, I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be, but when I woke up, I was so excited because she told me that we could match for the whole day. I wore the same shirt as her, had my hair up in the high little bun like she used to always do. We wore the same shoes, and everything was amazing. But even like in this one situation, that moment meant so much to me because I knew that she wasn't always the biggest fan of it, but she did it anyways because she knew how much it meant to me. And that's the kind of person she is. So onto Gary's part, in the beginning, in the beginning of the relationship, I was kind of hesitant about Hannah hanging out with someone new. And I didn't want to share my big sister, because she was mine. But after spending some time with this older, young, Sheldon-looking guy, I've come to the realization, Gary, I am so happy that that man is you. So this is another example of me wanting to be like my sister, who has a man who loves for her so much, who cares for her, who is able to bring her up in her faith and have them grow together with their relationship with each other and with God. And of course, makes her laugh harder than anyone else. From the moment they met, to Hannah saying yes for their very first date, to their informal titles of boyfriend and girlfriend, to the moment he dropped to one knee, to the moment right now as their official titles as the new husband and wife that we see. I've been able to see these two get closer to each other and also become closer to God in multiple ways. It really has been a blessing to be a part of that as well. Right now, I want you guys to take a deep breath. Look around at all these beautiful faces here. I hope you know that these people here are the ones that you have touched and also who you have learned from. And that's what family and friends do, right? They learn from us, influence us, teach us. Something that our mom used to always say is, when you say yes to one thing, it means saying no to something else. Although having a marriage where everything goes smoothly may seem ideal to some, it is important to have those no's in your life because that is what brings lessons learned by saying yes to better things. What is important to remember is what this yes means to you and to all that you've been through and to all that you will do in the future. I hope that from this yes that you've made here today, you continue to wake up each morning and say yes to each other and God's plan for your life. So with that being said, let's all raise our glasses as witnesses of Hannah and Gary's most recent yes.
All right, let's give her a round of applause and keep that applause going. Welcome out the best